Haka. My name is Kumeyaay, which means dove. You might know me as a Kumeyaay Indian because I lived many years ago in a mountain valley near here in what is San Diego County today. In the past, we were known by our name, Lipai, and that is the name my people still call themselves. My home could have been where your house is right now. Sometimes, when you're playing near streams, around boulders, or under a very old oak tree, you may find shards or fragments of pottery. These could have been pieces of the very pots that my family used to cook in or store our food in. I want you to know my family and the way we used to live long ago. This is Dragonfly, my father. New Moon is my mother. My brother is called Pasilai, which means little brother in your language. Born by Rock is my grandmother, and Ravenwing is my grandfather. My cousin is not here now, but we will see him soon. This is our village. We live near a stream that runs through the valley. It is so beautiful here. Many oak trees give us shade, and also acorns to eat. Willow trees grow here, and there are many rabbits, squirrel, and deer. We have all that we need. My grandfather says as long as we have water, we will want for nothing. The water is good for plants and animals and my people. I think we live in the best valley. Yes, it is wonderful here. My little cousin Afar, the brush rabbit, is visiting us from his village near the ocean. My aunt and uncle live there and have come to trade shells and fish with us and the other villages farther east. It's so exciting having traders and relatives come to visit. Some of the villages are in the desert, others in the mountains, and others are many miles away to the north and the south. We have relatives in most of the villages and share the same language and ceremonies. Our Kwaipai, our leader, or our captain, invites other tribes to visit for special occasions. The whole village prepares food and gets things ready for the visitors. It is good to see friends and family and to hear the news from other areas. Do you see my ewa, my house? It is made from willow branches, full of leaves, woven, and tied to a pole frame. It takes 2 or more of us working together to build this house. My ewa keeps us safe from the rain and the winds. It is a warm place for sleeping. We cook outside on an open fire. Sometimes, if it is very cold, we build a small fire in the hut, and we sleep on rabbit fur blankets. It is nice to sleep with my mother, father, and brother. I feel warm and safe. The willow tree not only gives us her branches to make our houses and baskets, but also her bark and leaves for cradle boards, medicine, and clothing. Do you see my skirt? It is made from willow bark. Did you know that you could make a skirt from bark? It is very soft, and we use it to pad the baby's cradle boards. I love the smell of the willow tree, and I like to lie in the cool shade. This is where my friends and I come to play. Just like you, we like to play games and run races. My mother and grandmother made me little jars and baskets and a clay doll. I made some little dishes and baskets too. I want to learn to be like my mother. One day, I cut willow branches and made a cradle board for my doll, just like my mother did for Pasilai. Then I could carry my doll with me when I played. I tore willow bark and made a nice soft padding so that she would be comfortable, and I tied her in with yucca strips to keep her safe. Father made Pasilai a little bow with arrows. The little boys of the tribe tried to be hunters just like their fathers. They practiced shooting the arrows at targets and live animals. The boys and girls loved to run races. This is very good practice for them because we need runners to carry news from one tribe to another. The runners are strong and take messages from the desert to the ocean and far to the north and south. There is another running game where the participants kick a wooden or rock ball back and forth for miles and then run back again. The boys also like to play a game by throwing long sticks through hoops to get points. The women play a dice game using 4 decorated sticks that they toss. The score is counted by which side lands up or down. When I come home from playing, I see that my mother is worried. Pasialai has become very hot and won't eat. We know that it is because he is sick. But I am afraid. My mother boiled some willow bark and water and gave a little of the willow drink to him. He rested, and soon he became better. My mother thanked the trees for giving us the medicine. It is our way to always thank the trees for giving us so many things. We tell the tree we will only use as many branches, leaves, or as much bark as we will need. Today, in your world, aspirin is made from willow. Many plants are used for medicine, and many plants are used for food. Special people in my village know the ways of plants. The Kumeyaay, the doctors, the shamans, they take care of us with the plant medicine, and they use special powers during special ceremonies or prayers to remove sicknesses. My grandmother also knows the ways of medicine, and she is teaching me. She is an elder. Elders are people who have lived long, and they have learned, and they are very wise. We respect the elders. They are our teachers. My mother and grandmother teach me how to look for and gather food for our family. Everyone in the village works hard to gather and prepare the food. We collect the foods as the seasons provide them. Beginning in early to late summer, the piñón nuts from pine trees are ripe. In the fall, the acorns drop from the oak trees. There are many live oaks here, but many of us travel high into the mountains to gather the black oak acorns that are so big and good. The piñón nuts are an important food source for us, and they can be eaten right away. We can eat them raw, right out of the shell, toasted, or even add them to our stew. When we gather acorns and piñón nuts, we carry as many as we can, and we bring them back to our village. We store the acorns in a huge granary basket made from leafy willow branches that protects the acorns from insects. It sits in the crook of a tree or in a support to keep it off the ground so the acorns won't get wet. Do you see how the trees keep providing for us? In the spring and summer, we gather seeds, bulbs, roots, flowers, herbs, and cactus to add to our meals. We eat these like you would eat vegetables. These can be eaten raw, brewed into teas, or steamed and eaten with our shawi, which is acorn mush, or our meat. Our mouths turn purple eating the ripe cactus fruit and the berries. The men travel to the desert to gather imali, which is agave plants, another one of our favorite foods. The agave needs to be harvested while the new stem is still sweet. Our Kumeyaay knows just when they must go dig it up. He watches the stars and the weather, and at just the right time he sends the men to gather the agave. They dig the big, thick, juicy agave stems and put them into rock-lined pits dug into the ground. After the stem is covered with hot coals and cooked for a few days, it is taken out of the pit and pounded into thin layers, dried in the hot desert sun, and rolled to be carried back home. While in the desert, some of the men will hunt the bighorn sheep that roam the high mountain ranges. There is so much to be done that we all need to help each other. Kuiu, come. Grandfather is teaching my cousin Afar how to hunt with a throwing stick. He has made a smaller stick for Afar to throw at rocks and bushes. This is a good game for children to play, and they will learn the skills that you need to become a good hunter. Many in the village hunt for small animals like rabbits, squirrel, rats, lizards, and birds using throwing sticks or nets. The rabbit gives us nice meat to eat and fur for our blankets and cloaks. We only use that which we need, and nothing is wasted. Now, Grandfather has gone back to finishing the arrow point that he had started. He found a piece of shiny black obsidian in the desert, and now he is breaking small flakes off the sides with a piece of deer antler, shaping it carefully. He protects his legs from the sharp flakes with a scrap of deer hide. He needs to be very careful because the rock is very sharp, or it could crack and it would be ruined. Grandfather also goes to the mountains and finds clear, hard rocks to make his arrow points. His arrow points are admired by the men of our village, and they are very valuable for trading. There, he is done, and he is pleased. Our Kuaipai has called us all together for a gathering tonight. There will be singing, dancing, and feasting round the campfire. Our Kumeyaay will tell stories and sing songs that tell us how our world was made and why we are to respect and care for all that is given to us. Some of the men are singers and have learned the songs of our people. We have no written language like you do, so the stories and songs are memorized. The men will sing in time with the gourd rattles. Father will make Afar a rattle, like grandfather's, so that he will learn too when he is older. Here comes the Kumeyaay and the older girls from our village. They have finished a special ceremony to teach the secrets of being good wives and mothers. Their chins have been tattooed to show that they are women now, and not little girls. The Kumeyaay had them pound their marks on the rocks to please the ancestors and have a good life. They are following the ways of our people. The Kumeyaay reads the stars and seeks guidance from the ancestors. He paints symbols onto the rocks to honor the universe, nature, and our ancestors. We are one with all creation. Grandmother says that soon I will be a young woman, so she has made an ala. Ha! The beautiful painted sky. I am so happy that it didn't crack. I must go now and get ready to paint my face and arms with designs for the campfire tonight. This is our way of dressing up. I hope you enjoyed your visit to our village, and I hope that you will come again. Remember, when you go outside to play, you are walking where my people walked. Take good care of all that has been given to us, and waste nothing. My people do not have a word for goodbye. We say, Enyaham, I'm going. It would make me happy if you answered, Kaima. Go on then.